Hey, here's some clarification that I've been asked to share with you. So, we're going to do this sheet of paper again where this is the entirety of the universe. And how do I do this so you can see? Okay. We got a little person. Wait. That's better. So we got, let's do Barney. We got Barney over here. Barney is the individualized aspect of Source that grew up in this version of reality, and it's, this individual. In all the other realities, there's different individualized versions that grew up and did and had and experienced all sorts of different things. Different universes for each of them, different life experiences, different concepts of energy, gravity, and then parallel reality versions of them in different dimensions that also learned and experienced differently. Every single infinite possibility in infinite amounts of individualized versions of itself. Okay? And God, Source, whatever you want to call it, okay, is also love. It is everything and no thing. It is infinite, whatever, infinite and eternal. Sorry, it's 1 in the morning right now. So God is love, right? God is everything, the atoms, the molecules, the energy, the sound, vibrations, concepts, consciousness itself. It's everything. It's you sitting right there. It's me sitting right here. We're just two different versions of Source. So let's say Barney has a girlfriend named Betty Boop, okay? Barney and Betty Boop have a totally cute and awesome relationship. It's a little bow tie in her hair. I don't know if you can see it. So Betty Boop breaks Barney's heart. Like, Barney is full of love. He's all like, woo, and Betty's like, nope, I'm gonna go over there and, fill my own cup and be, fantastic. Barney's like, but I'm gonna give you this full cup over here. And she's like, no, I don't want this one. Okay? So there's a blockage. There's a energetic flow from Source Barney to Source Betty. So now every time Barney feels love, there's also a inability for that love energy to go to its directed or intended recipient, which then results in grief, which is also God. So now this version of God, who is channeling love energy through it, is now channeling, upside down smiley face grief energy through it. She's over there oblivious to this, and Betty can be anybody, and they're, the person that walked away and disconnected, they're oblivious to this experience. So because they're attracting what they wanted, they're attracting something else. They're like off in their own world. So now the story about Barney is that he's attracting this energy of a broken heart, of love that wants to go somewhere but has nowhere to go. So eventually, because of repetition and more broken hearts and more broken hearts and more broken hearts, Barney's vibration drops down. So Barney's down here now, and he's all like, life sucks, blah, 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 depression, diseases, and all sorts of random things, which then creates more heartache, and then it channels more Source energy towards that. And in a low vibratory state, someone up there doesn't even know this person exists. So this person has to find the inner light, the God within, the simple trick to the simple yet complicated trick to turn the frown upside down, so to speak, right? Well, the easy way to do this, no matter in which state of existence you are, is to oversimplify it. God is love and God is grief. God is sadness, fear, and whatever else you can make up. It's you. So if you're in a state where you're feeling an emotion and you're trying to release it and it's not going anywhere, so you deny the emotion to stay at that level, so you harden your heart, right? You build defenses, you put up swords, and you're like a shield and armor up, and you're like going to battle, and you're like, nah, I'm gonna defend myself, cutting off toxic connections, like, karate kicking things off your vortex. Well, then what you're attracting is combative energy that will prove to you that you keep needing to protect yourself. So then you start attracting confusion energy, because you wonder why your life is so messed up, because you go from grief to anger to fear to love to failure to, oh, it's never going to happen, oh, here you go, just kidding, give it back, that kind of bullshit situation. Why? Because Source is pulling at every single thing that it can to see which avenue will open up the pathway of love back towards itself to where it can stand on solid ground. The entire joke of all of it is that it's all Source. It's like thinking the fallen angels like fell. I heard this somewhere earlier today, like the fallen angels fell, and they fell so hard and they thought they were doing it on their own, but where did they fall? They fell into God. Like, they were still using God's power. Like, the trick was on them. Haha, you didn't create an evil, you were using love to create evil. Like, you never created an evil, it never existed. It was all love in the first place. Ta-da! So all this stuff you're feeling, all of this negativity, all of this sadness and stuff, it's literally your human body, your consciousness, the individual that you are, telling the God you, hey, stop punishing yourself and give me love instead. So the God you hears you on a subconscious level, comes back to give you love, but every time it comes to you, it meets you at the vibration you're at. So then God is like, yo, raise your vibration, create something, go connect with nature, find your light within, find the kingdom within, be kind to others, do things that will raise your vibration one step at a time, one kind act after another, until you're back at the place where you fear rejection of giving love to someone else, which is when you realize, wow, you just moved up the opportunity scale from being rejected to giving love to someone and fearing rejection. And now you're on equal ground with someone that could reject you or that you can reject, which means you're at a healthy boundary place, because you're being given choice between what to do. From this point, you can't, like, no matter how many times you fall back down, you're going to remember, it's all a vibration. You are God feeding your human body a vibration to do something to let yourself know that what you want is something better. And the trick is that you have to not fight for what you want. Simply humble yourself and say, oops, I fucked up, give me love instead, and alternate the energy, transmute the energy within, and feel love instead. As silly as it sounds, as arrogant as you might feel, as prideful as it might be, as woo-woo as it seems, regardless of how panicked you are, take a moment and just be like, whatever I'm feeling right now is a imagination of consciousness, and I can change that with the chemical reactions within this physical body that the consciousness is imagining it has. Are you following? God is doing all of it to get you to see God doing all of it. That it's you that's been looking at God as if there is an enemy within God, because the lens you were looking at God is the same lens you were looking at God as the person coming to you that you thought was rejecting you, but really you were rejecting yourself. But it's not you rejecting yourself, it's Source rejecting itself through you, which then you, the ego, takes it personally and thinks you're being attacked by other people or by Source, but it's Source doing it to itself. But each self is an individual self. But this true love individual self can't get to the individual self that's grief-stricken, and the one that's fearing rejection can't get to the one that's wanting to give acceptance. Because the one wanting to give acceptance isn't vibrating on comforting someone who's afraid of being rejected. And the one who's afraid of being rejected can't be accepted because the person accepting the rejection has already accepted it and it's happened. So you have to accept that you're already accepted to be accepted. It's like paint with colors. It's like plants. There's pairings that happen, and it's mathematics, it's sound, it's vibration, it's imagination. Ding ding. So it's super easy. It's like, pretend you're a little bratty kid and you're riding a tricycle, right? And your dad's pushing you behind it, and the entire universe is your dad. Everything that little kid experiences, including the skin that the little kid is experiencing as skin, is the universe. The universe is pretending to be the dad pushing the kid on the tricycle. The kid keeps rolling, thinking it's pushing itself along, riding itself along, and then it's like, I don't need my dad anymore, I'm running off on my own. Little does the kid know, it's still part of the universe, and it's its own dad, it's its own kid, it's its own universe. It's not off on its own on an adventure, even though the kid thinks it's off on its own on an adventure. It's still within the heart of God, which means everything you're experiencing is a lie based on your human perception, based on your human trauma and vibration. So reality isn't what you think it is. It's what your pain is telling you it is to protect you from what it really is, because what it really is would have you be vulnerable and happy and feeling loved, which is something you're afraid of feeling. So you create alternate scenarios where you are not loved, so you stay at this low vibration to justify the lack of effort to increase yourself to a higher vibration. I am not schooling you. This is a direct message from Source. I, the personal me, have taken a back seat to this conversation because I got schooled on this morning. It is an epiphany I had earlier today in a conversation with someone, and it's been playing out in my head like a movie, like Cloud Atlas, playing out through different timelines. And I finally comprehended it really well. You're literally filling yourself up with energy. You can fill yourself up with love energy, or you can fill yourself up with delusion. It's up to you. The reality are what the facts are, and the facts are what the facts are to you, not to them. So if you're feeling rejected, that's a fact for you. She can't tell you you're not feeling rejected. If he's feeling like a cocky, arrogant king of, swords, or king of fire, she can't tell him that, because she's not that to tell him what he is. She's something else, seeing what she perceives, but what she's looking at is a reflection of herself, based on the sounds and vibrations she hears coming from that vibration. Get it? It's like little spheres, little bubbles coming up to each other, like eggs and like caviar eggs, and they're all connected to each other. Each of us are in one of these bubbles, and each of us are within the same giant fish, so to speak. And we're all connected, and when we start sharing energy and energy and love and honesty between each other, and doing kind acts for each other, the connection connects between each and every single cell like a honeycomb structure, and all of it fills with divine honey, divine love. First and foremost, you have to realize that your body, when you deny yourself the opportunity to love another person because you have been hurt by grief, you are denying your physical body the sensation of love to exist within it. By doing so, by denying the energy of love within your body for even a day, a second, a conversation, an email, a massage to your own legs, a moment of love where you're looking at a puppy picture, a moment where your heart fills with love and you hold that energy in when you're looking at someone's picture you were in love with, whatever, your mom, your dad, your sister, your grandma, some moment that brings you to an overwhelming, heartfelt release. Instead of crying it out, instead of creating art with it, instead of screaming it out, instead of destroying it out or having sex to release it. Hold that energy, that emotion in your body and put it within your cells, as if you're sculpting your face, your bones, your feet, your organs, your soul with that love you feel for that person outside of you. Put it in your body, so when someone comes to look at you, they see the vibration of all the love you feel reflected in your face through their mirror back at their face. So whatever love they're reflecting back at themselves through their matrix is amplified by your love that you feel for yourself, because you have filled your conduit, your body, your vessel, full of the love you thought was denied. But that love was denied because it was meant for you first. You just had to figure out its energy, and you're filling a battery. Ta-da! Okay, I'm gonna go and check my phone because I feel like I've been recording for hours. Okay, I hope that helped. Wow, I feel like I just went on a fucking roller coaster ride. I'm gonna go. I hope this helps. I know this will help. Rewatch this. Have a pen and paper handy if it helps. Like, I'm being shown guides telling you, like in a school, that you should be writing something while you're watching this. Like, write down those thoughts that are coming to you, those little mini epiphanies, those little fireworks going off inside you. Write them down, come back to them later. They'll mean something to you more, especially if you rewatch this video. Maybe slow it down and rewatch it, because I feel like I've been talking really quickly, and that's not intentional. The energy coming through me is like wet electricity. It's like a hurricane of light. It's very fascinating. Like, this is so simple. I intend for the world to comprehend this. It's so simple. Like, all of your suffering can stop with this. Just stop feeling suffering and feel love. Just stop it. There's no fucking excuse. There's no one that's gonna come to you and like coddle you enough out of hating yourself. Nobody knows what you've been through to be able to empathize with you enough to where your pain is going to feel seen. It's never going to happen. What you need to tell yourself is you are valid in every fucking thing you experienced. You experienced it, and no one can take it away from you. No one. Not any other version of you can take it away from you. You experienced that, and that's valid. Accept it. Now change your emotional state to love. Because if you're a fish underwater and you're drowning with your heavy emotions, no one can come to the depths you've gone to. You went to depths nobody else can come to, because you went there and it was your path. Now you gotta come back. Like a free diver. You dove so deep, dive yourself back up. And it's really easy. You just turn the switch. Whatever you're feeling, feel like you feel when you're in love with the love of your life. And don't give it to anybody else. Do not give it to anybody. I don't care who it is. Find that feeling inside you and flood yourself with it, so that the next time you actually see that person, or you see your child or your parent or your sibling or your neighbor, they are flooded by all the love you have built up within yourself. And then when you think your cup runneth empty, you can't, because you have flooded yourself, and Source has been continuously refilling it, because Source loves feeling love through you. Don't you? Why would you deny yourself? It's like the 3 years when I was celibate. Like, why the fuck would I deny myself pleasure? How much did I hate myself that I denied myself pleasure? All to prove that I was loyal to some guy that doesn't exist anymore? Come on. Come on, ladies. Come on, guys. This is fucking ridiculous now. If I have to like be your school teacher in front of you and be like, you guys deserve a lot better than this, and I'm gonna school you hardcore Scorpio style if I have to, I'll do it. I swear to God, I'll do it. I love you guys enough to do it. And I'll do the Pisces thing, and I'll go to all the depths for you. As long as you remember who the fuck you are. Because I'm tired of being here by myself and like finding, little glimmers of diamonds here and there. I want to look at the whole planet and see an entire lit up sun. Because of all of the little individual humans all loving themselves and being nice to each other. How much longer are we going to continue to be so petty to each other? We're going to pretend that suffering is going to solve anything or make anyone else happy as they save us. I've gone through so much, and I'm so glad I've gone the fucking hardest road I could go. And I've done it repeatedly. Like, I've gone to summer school for Earth repeatedly because I wanted to. Like, you want me to teleport in a volcano? Fine, I'll be right back. Like, I don't care. I'm indestructible, bro. Like, I'll be right back. You don't have to suffer. So many ancestors have suffered before you. So many versions of you are suffering now. So many fucking versions of God are in moments of pain and cold and homelessness and poverty, and all because each and every single one of them doesn't get the fucking scientific logic of their human body. You're a electronic, biological, light-based entity. You have imagined yourself as a water fairy. That's what you are. You're made out of light and water, and you think you run on electricity. And you have blood flowing, but it's not even blood. It's like liquid light. Like, come on, just change your mood. Like, we wore mood rings when we were 12 in 1992. And we would change our moods on command like we were chameleons, me and my high school friends, just to change the color. If we could do it when we were 12 in 1992, what about you kids in this generation who are fucking geniuses compared to what anybody prior to you has been? Some of you kids before you're even 11 are showing like signs of superhuman abilities. Yet some of you think you have diseases, that you have illnesses, or that you have, ADHD, or whatever these terms are. Whatever it is yours, that's your story. But I'm telling you, your human body is a imaginative entity that you have come up with that functions on light and food from nature, and mischief and joy, and love and companionship and unity and family. Everything else is fun, it's shiny, it's glittery. You want to hold it, you want to play with it, you want to love it and squeeze it and hug it until it implodes. Everybody's like that. I don't care how macho you are, and I don't care how feminine and classy you are. You're a fucking brat deep down inside, and you know it. Don't lie, don't hide things from me. I love you, I know you. So stop making yourself suffer. Stop denying yourself happiness because you want to have a woo-woo story. And stop blaming everybody else for your problems, and stop thinking that everybody else is separate from you. Because if somebody outside of you is having a problem, you are on the same vibration as them witnessing it. You are on the same plane. Just like somebody being rejected and somebody accepting rejection and moving forward. They're on the same vibration. So you seeing somebody suffer poverty or harm, you're on the same vibration. You're just in a parallel variance of it. Like a numerical scale, kind of like the same sheet of paper but a bunch of different layers, the same building, a bunch of different elevators. So you don't want to like judge people, you want to help them, because the minute you help them, both your vibration goes boom boom and both light up, because you both chose love to help each other. One person saw the help coming and they trusted the help coming. The other person gave the help and trusted that help would help them. They had faith, the other one had hope. Boom, together they have love. Match made. Like there's one person that hates this cell and this person hates this cell. This person hurt this one, that person hurt the same one, but they hurt each other, they hurt blah blah blah, a bunch of mess, right? Bunch of ancestral karma between them. Neither of them can get out of this dark pit because neither of them are able to communicate with each other because they're both full of negative energy. So what do? This one hates and avoids. This one like moved on and disappeared and just ghosted itself into out of existence. Like the most extremes you can think of. What do? They both do the thing that they cannot think to do ever again, which is a question that was asked to me yesterday. If God told you you had to live this life all over again if you didn't talk to this person and apologize, would you live this fucking life all over again to apologize in the next life at this very moment? Would you do it all over again just to be a fucking stubborn bitch right now? No, right? The common sense, the logic in you, the kindness in you would say no, you just go and apologize, get it over with, move on with your life. But what keeps you from that? Negative emotion. So how do you change that? Instead of going to all the different retreats and yoga methods and bullshit and incense sticks and woo-woo and chanting and meditating and therapy and pills, and okay, fuck that. All you do is say to yourself, I am fucking done carrying this negative energy as if it's justifying my suffering while I carry it. I'm fucking done. I'm gonna go be nice because I'm a nicer person. And the person over here that's receiving the sudden 180 shift has to then transmute the energy of being disappearing, hiding, or being wallowy, or whatever the fucking negative gloomy doom energy is, right? The rejection energy, the not good enough energy, the opposite of I hate energy is I'm not worth it energy. So that energy has to allow itself for just a moment to experience something outside of its self-hatred, which is someone showing it its worth and apology. Do you see how everything balances itself out based on exactly what you're looking at? So if you're looking at someone like in a previous video where I was saying a lot of the videos I made, like barely anybody has ever donated, right? Some people have said some beautiful things, there have been comments. Energetically, like the person I am, I don't really care. But at the grand scheme of things, this is what's going on. This is why it pisses me off. Because when I put the energy out, and the energy isn't exchanged between either you guys or the other parties, the energy gets stuck in the sphere that I'm in, while the leaks that you guys get are looked at energetically as leaks in the vacuum I have, so it gets pulled back from you and you guys don't learn the lesson because that wisdom gets pulled back into the vacuum it was taken from without any energetic exchange. That's why it's like there's the like button on YouTube, whether you guys realize it or not. It's an energetic exchange of a minor way. Communicating, commenting, even passing on an act of kindness between you and your neighbor after you watch a video, or writing a note to yourself to remind yourself at a future moment. That's an exchange of energy, because you're taking the words, putting them on paper to remind yourself later to avoid a lower vibration, which means I did my job and I saved you from suffering somehow. Good job. Like I prevented you from hurting yourself. Like I reminded you you're worth it, to live, to be happy, to smile, to love, to have chairs that don't squeak and hurt your butt when you're sitting on them. So, so I'm asking you please and kindly, as someone who's done this earth rodeo many, many times, it's very simple. I've died enough times and I've had multiple near-death experiences. I have oracle abilities. I can channel source. I can do whatever you think I can't do. I can pretty much do it. I'm not going to get into it. I'm telling you, the key to all of it is simplicity. The love you feel has to stay in your body first before you release it. Otherwise, you create an empty vessel. The grief you feel, the negative energy, doesn't belong in there. It is simply showing you where there should be love instead. If you have a thing with the body, check that area. How much negativity do you speak into that area? If you have a problem with a relationship, how much are you carrying negative energy that would block the possible beneficial experience you could be having? It's a polarity. You're in duality. There is no gray zone. It's black or it's white. The gray zone comes in the 5th and 6th dimensions. The 4th dimension kind of sorta when you involve the astral plane and the psychic realms, maybe. But in the physical fucking 3D that you experience consciously, it's black and white. You experience an energy and you're choosing to experience it, therefore you will choose to experience the consequences. And I'm asking you to change it before you experience the consequences of ancestral karma that has been lived through you, through your petty actions. We've all had them. Okay? Do not be petty. Recognize that confusion energy, recognize the petty energy, recognize the love energy, and transmute it. Please. This insight that has come from the conversations with this beautiful woman, I'm telling you, repeat this video, watch it, share it, do what you need to. It is so simple. Just stop suffering. Yell at yourself. Be your own Saturn energy. Be your own angry grandpa. Be your own angry mom that just doesn't want to deal with your bullshit anymore, and she just wants you to suck it up and move forward and do the right thing. Like, be that to yourself for just a few seconds to reset the neural network you've imagined for yourself into realigning with the vibration of love. It's simple. Just feel love instead. Do it for 3 days repetitively. If people come up in your reality that you find difficult to deal with, what would the loving version of you do that isn't giving into negative emotions? If you have someone with a negative interaction that you're involved with, a relationship, an ex, whatever, and they come back and they're like, I'm so sorry, don't cut their heads off. Don't put your shields up in that way. Keep your boundaries up. Be respectful. Be civilized. Be mature. But don't project your insecurities on them when it is met on a mutual ground of compromise. That situation means it becomes sacred space between two people conducting an energetic transfer, communication of energy. So you cannot blame someone else and think and assume what they're saying when they're saying it to you. You have to learn to recognize the energy. Remember, it's all energy and consciousness. You have to recognize what's yours and what isn't, and what you want to keep and what you don't want to keep. And I know you want to keep love and you want to have healthy relationships. So I'm being asked to tell you, the people you have problems with in your life are seen as the dis-ease in the body of God. If you don't fix these relationships in your life, in however way brings you and the other person peace, the karma would continue. You cannot go to a realm of unity when you have no unity within the connections you already have. I am not saying go back to a toxic relationship. I am saying give it antibiotics. And the best medicine is love. So the minute you transmute that negativity in you, the connection is healed. The karma is cleared and you gain the blessings. What's been done, what is that phrase she said? She said earlier, what's done in the dark is revealed by the light, or something like that, by the light of the moon. Don't become the reason why your future self will regret why you're being petty to yourself right now. Okay? Find the strength within you to overcome the reasons why you've held on to being right for so long. Because it could just be the case that God wanted you to see that, or to think that you're right, so that you could feel the humbleness of being wrong, so that you could see how pure your heart really is, and how much that anger you felt changed you from who you are truly. And that some people see you for exactly who you are, and they see your beautiful heart, and they see the anger you've held on to, and they're asking you to let it go. And they're asking me through my body to tell you it's all about the chemical reaction that occurs in the body, that when love floods through it. It's like a literal hormonal chemical response in the body, correct? So flood your body with love. Flood it.